We,
There we go.
we are on April 6th, live from the Urban Chamber of Commerce, Southern Nevada, Global Roundtable. Every first Wednesday of every month, we come together and we open discussion for small business leaders, owners in Southern Nevada, the state of Nevada, to talk more about business opportunities to trade in various countries around the world. Today, as always, we have President Ken Evans of the Urban Chambers with us. Thank you, Ken, for allowing the Urban Chambers to go global.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ken. Our guest today, we are inviting back. We are so excited to have the African Diaspora of Las Vegas back with us at Global Roundtable. We have the president and co-founder of African Diaspora. She is an Urban Chamber member with her business here in Nevada as Senior Loan Officer with Axia Home and Loans. Ms. Stella, welcome.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
What is the agenda today? What is our conversation today? We have just closed out first quarter, going into second quarter. We have a very, very big event coming to Southern Nevada, Africa Day. Ms. Stella, will you please remind our listeners what African Diaspora Las Vegas's mission, vision, and forward calendar is for our community?
Thank you so much, Tiffany and Ken. It's so great to be back here with you again. Jenny, our Vice President, was here a couple months ago, and it's just exciting to be able to partner and continue to work with you. So our mission is to elevate, educate, and support the African community in Las Vegas. Our overall mission is to bring together the people of Las Vegas and the Africans, diaspora of Las Vegas, people that came from Africa or have African origins that live here in Las Vegas, and to bridge the gap together so that we can work together as a community. So African Diaspora of Las Vegas was founded formally in 2019. We had been in the, we had an informal meetings and things like that in the beginning. But as the community grew, we thought it would be a great idea to bring us together so that we can work, towards a common goal. Because all of us call Las Vegas home. Our families live here. We work here. We contribute to the economic. We contribute economically to the city of Las Vegas. So it was important for us to build a place where all the people can come together and join and work towards a common goal. And Africa Day, you want me, if I can go ahead and talk about that, is Africa Day, for those that don't know, is actually called Liberation Day. After the, when African countries gained their independence from colonialism, we formed, we formed the Organization of African Unity. And the Organization of African Unity essentially brought the African countries together as in one unit. And it's really, since it was formed in May 25th, 1963. So let me just, May 25th, 1963. And that became the Liberation Day, and that hence Africa Day is celebrated all over the world, either the same day or close as you can get to us. For us, it will be May 21st, 2022 at Greg Ranch in North Las Vegas.
So important. Thank you for that information, because that's what Global Roundtable is about. It's about educating our business leaders about what is going on outside of our community. Africa Day, you said May 25th, 1963.
Yes, May 25th,
It's the day of Africa. Yes.
This is the day the Organization of African Unity was formed, because prior to that, during colonialism, we were conquered and divided. You had the French, you had the British, and all the other people that took over the continent. And so when we fought back and eventually got our independence, like Kenya became, I'm originally from Kenya, so our independence from the British was December 12, 1963. And so it took a little bit of time, to fight and get our freedom. And when we got our freedom, we decided, okay, now we should form an organization that unites us as a continent.
The significance of the conversation between Africa Diaspora Las Vegas and the Urban Chamber of Commerce for me personally is, I feel like it's so important. You said your families, there's second generations here that build and contribute to the economic development and commerce of this state, Nevada. Our mission always is to bridge Africa to the US in America in order to reach out. So this education and this communication of this celebration in May is so important to our community here in the state of Nevada. Communication necessary for evolution. I know I have seen a little bit of the agenda and what's going to be included on Africa Day at Craig Ranch Regional Park. It says May 21st, Saturday, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The first part is so exciting, right? It's the cultural connection of understanding within our community that involves, of course, food, right? Product vendors,
Yes.
Music, there's a drum circle, dance, face painting, resources to get that connection, right? We're not in the office, we're not at meetings, we're actually connecting.
Yes. In
What's
person.
In person.
We're excited for that.
Energy is important to connect and to understand that we have more in common between our two communities, within our community, the Africans and the African Americans. So important. There's so much work for us to do in order to get to that next national and federal level, right? And then to go international with our businesses. What I'm so excited about to hear today, Ms. Yusela, is the Trade Expo component of Africa Day in May. That's providing a unique space where embassies, consulates, and business stakeholders can promote their country's products and services. Yes, thank you for this.
Yes.
This is outstanding development here in Las Vegas, as far as I'm concerned. We're going to be able to meet with fellow citizens and engage with the diaspora. But most importantly, let's have conversations about possible trade investment opportunities and building relationships across the Atlantic.
Yes. So the Trade and Expo is a new addition to our program this year. And what we find out, of course, we're not the chamber, and we kind of dabble in that area because there is a chamber here in town, there's an African chamber. But more importantly is because we built grassroots effort in our community, because it took a little bit of time to build. We have 20 plus countries right now that are represented in African diaspora. So because we have that ability to connect the people from different countries, we are able to request, we've sent requests to the embassies in the different countries that will be represented to come and meet up with different people in the community, right? The stakeholders, the people that make decisions. But more importantly, for the African people, that they have access. So now, since we have so many countries involved, now we have access to the people in the continent. For example, this last Friday evening, we had an event for the Rocky, who was nominated from Ghana to the Grammys. So all of us were able to go from all the different countries and celebrate with him that evening. But also we met the person in charge of Cuba, which is an organization that's taking back the African diaspora back to Ghana. So if anyone here locally wants to connect and invest and do trade with the continent, we have people now to connect them to that. And that's been really important to piece that we've been working on to make sure that we are connected to the people leading the communities here and to the people on the other side, in the continent, that are able to do business. So that's really crucial, because for example, today, if Tiffany wanted to go and open a hospital in Ghana, right? We have the connection to say, Tiffany, here is the person that you need to contact. And so we are acting as the bridge, because again, we're not the chamber. So we're just acting as a bridge to say, hey, if you are looking to connect with an actual person, the decision makers that are making the decisions on behalf of the continent or on behalf of the individual countries, we're able to connect you to that. If you want to know what your roots are, if your roots are in Ethiopia, for example, right, or Kenya, we have connections directly that will take you. If you want to take a trip there, and meet with the stakeholders that make the decision, we're able to facilitate that and make sure that you are in the right place.
I am a firm believer, and I know the Urban Chamber of Commerce is a firm believer, is there is more than enough room, opportunity, and work for everyone. So to our listeners, you're hearing Ms. Yusalat Puch of African Diaspora Las Vegas speak of not only her mission and her team's mission in connection to the continent of Africa, but she's also bringing up the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. So the Urban Chamber of Commerce works directly with African Diaspora Las Vegas, President Stella, as well as the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, President Ms. Favor Chikalu. Because of these relationships that the Urban Chamber is opening up in communication with the diaspora within the state of Nevada, we are able to not reinvent the wheel. For me personally, understanding and digging deeper into the work the African Diaspora Las Vegas and the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism is doing, specializing and creating experts in their own lanes, is nothing but helping the state of Nevada, not only locally, but nationally, and of course, globally. It is a process. It is a process of communication and building coalition of understanding in order to take it to the next level. Mr. Evans, I know, Ken, you are a strong advocate of communication, not just globally, specifically with Africa on all levels. What are you most excited about when learning about Africa Day coming in May, as in regards to the Urban Chamber?
I'm excited about the opportunity to bring people together. And again, thank you very much, Stella, for joining us here this morning. In addition to that, in advance, I want to say congratulations to your team for getting things going again. It's so good to get people in person together. Look forward to the event, May 21st, Saturday, 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. at Craig Ranch. Again, what I would suggest is that the communication is key. One of the reasons why the Urban Chamber has encouraged some of our members to get involved with the Global Roundtable, but beyond that, to go on trade missions, is because whether it's the African continent or whether it's some of the other places we've been, one of the first things you need to do before you can do business is build real relationships. There's a shout out again to Shondell Newsom, our board chair, but it's important to build relationships. And then once you've built those relationships by first visiting whichever country it is you're interested in on the African continent, then you can begin to look into doing business, pursuing commerce. But I think first and foremost, the key is building relationships. What I would conclude my initial remarks by saying is that it's not lost on me that essentially what we're doing by the Urban Chamber communicating and working with the African Diaspora Las Vegas, as well as the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism, is we basically are putting back together what was torn asunder 400 plus years ago. And to the extent that we do that, again, we will build bridges that can first connect us socially, but ultimately connect us in terms of commerce.
That's true.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ken, for always reminding us the importance of the history as to why we are constantly building our communication and relationships here in the US, and why it's so important to connect it back to Africa.
Absolutely. If I could, yeah, because one thing that I'll mention is that may not be immediately apparent sometimes. If people haven't already familiarized themselves, please look up the name Aliko Dangote. Again, look up the name Aliko Dangote, Dangote. And he actually owns a conglomerate organization called the Dangote Group, which we ultimately hope to build a relationship with between ourselves and the Urban Chamber. He's right now probably the richest person on the African continent. But what I also want to state is that he is not, I repeat, he is not the only billionaire or multimillionaire on the African continent. There are multimillionaires and billionaires throughout the African continent. And imagine the power and the wealth that we could harness if we built relationships between Africans and African Americans with all these multimillionaires and beyond that billionaires, so that, again, we could build relationships, but beyond that, we could pursue commerce because perhaps we have our own resource for investment, both ways.
Right. Because when you look at the African continent, in the statistics say in 2050, I believe, 1 in every 4 people on Earth will be African, right? And also the resources, we still have 65% of arable land in Africa that you can use for agriculture. In 2050, the majority of those African people will be under the age of 35. So what does Africa still have, will have, it always has, but will have is human capital. When you have human capital, that's really crucial. So doing business in the continent and building it for future generations is really critical, because it will be a place where you will want to be in years to come. We still have resources, right, that are untapped. And also we're building infrastructure. Most of the countries right now are taking the initiatives to really build the infrastructure, because that's what you need. And so as African Americans, building the relationships, like Ken said, is so crucial, because before you can do business in a place, or even here, when you're doing business, you gotta build a relationship with the person. You got to understand what their needs are, because what the goal is to meet a need, right? Doing business is meeting a need of a community. And if you're able to do that while making money, even better. So it's important to continue to strive to build the relationship amongst ourselves.
So important to remember, and to our listeners, wherever you are in the process of thinking as a business owner globally, sometimes it can get overwhelming. There's so much to take in. That's why events like Africa Day coming up in May is so important, to just drop in and start absorbing all of the rich information and opportunity for relationships. I'm really excited talking about, we talked about Aliko Dangote and his brilliance coming from West Africa. What I love about Africa Diaspora Las Vegas is you guys are constantly talking about how many countries you cover in relationship. This so many different parts working within the engine of Africa Diaspora Las Vegas. Can you give us a little snapshot of what it means to have embassy recognition at Africa Day, and how that development is coming through, not just for May, Africa Day, but with Africa Diaspora Las Vegas?
Yeah, so the having the event again here in May is critical in continuing to build relationship. Right now, African diaspora is represented by 20 plus countries. So that alone, in the African continent, we have so many cultures and food, different food. We have different music. I mean, within even one country, for example, Kenya, we have, I believe, 46 plus dialects, right? So I don't even speak the language that the next person, one of my friends, Jenny, for example, and I don't speak the same language, but we share the same common bond of the African culture. So being able to get the embassies and the stakeholders that make decisions on behalf of all of us and represent all of us is so critical, because the grassroots effort that we've done, we are able to bring the leaders of each community, right? So think about it this way. It's not like Africa's a continent, and within that, there's 50 plus countries in it. Within that, within Las Vegas, we have 20 plus countries from those countries. So you're dealing with different cultures and food. For example, at this event, we will have Ethiopian food. We will have Kenyan food. We will have Senegalese food, right? We even have a Gambian Senegalese restaurant, Calabash, that opened by an African sister here. So it's important to come and enjoy the music, the people, the food, the culture, and to just meet. It's always good to mingle and be around people that are business minded. On the expo side, you'll be able to meet. We're hoping there's an African lady that owns a winery in Northern California. Just think about that. Like she owns the winery and produces wine in America. And so we all have opportunities that we can share. Whatever your niche is, you just have to look for that and work towards that. And we can help you to facilitate the connections and things like that. But we would love for you to come to Africa Day. We're still looking for sponsors and volunteers and people to help with that. But we're just excited. One, the pandemic became an endemic. And so we're excited not to be worrying about COVID anymore and to be able to get out and hang out and hug and feel, because Africans are huggy, touchy-feely people. We're not Zoom people. And I guess the other world has not been, but we've adopted. And also very important to note that the fundraising that we will do for this event will go to fund scholarship programs for diaspora students. It will go into workshops for wellness and health, because that's really critical to be able to get your basic health screenings done. We will also use it for financial literacy to be able to help the kids and even the adults, because some of us come here with a different language. So you got to learn and understand how business and how things work here. And eventually we want to raise seed money to be able to have an African cultural center here in Las Vegas. So, I mean, we have a very robust and urgent agenda that we're working on. We haven't been around a long time, but we've been around enough to make an impact even throughout COVID, helping our community. So that's what Africans and African diaspora of Las Vegas really is here to support the community, to be a resource to the community, and and bridge between the different chambers. In this case, with you guys, the Upper Chamber, to be able to support our community.
To our listeners with the Global Roundtable Urban Chamber of Commerce, in discussion with the president of African Diaspora Las Vegas, Ms. Yusela Koech, my passion as being a native Nevadan and having business relationships personally with my husband, who is from Africa as well, and going back and forth to the continent. To our listeners who are local, or have never visited Africa or thought about opportunities in Africa, I always love to encourage and challenge you to show up, because every single time I show up, no matter on what level or what room or what the conversation is, I am always, as an American, completely blown away at the amount and the mass at which Africans from the continent of Africa go at developing innovative economic development. Ms. Yusela, you just spoke of, a woman who owns a vineyard in Northern California from Africa. She owns the vineyard.
She's from Kenya, and she has a winery. And so we're working with her to try to come, so that the goal is to bridge. There's restaurants here, and she can supply to the community, things like that. And we are always entrepreneur minded, right? That's always in our mind. When you leave, for me, I left when I was 18, right? Scary. Like I can't see my son, who is now 16, leaving me in 2 years and going to some foreign country. It's just not something, so it takes a lot of grit and gut and perseverance and sacrifice. And for us, for most of us that come here, your community is depending on you 100%. So you come here looking for opportunities to be able to give back to the people. So we sponsor kids to go to school. We build churches, we build schools. I mean, there's all kinds of things that we do as diaspora here back in the continent. The remittance of the people living here to the continent is huge. So we are all contributing to that, to the economic development here, but we're also contributing to the economic development back home. And we don't lose sight of why we're here, right? It's important to understand this is home. This is where our kids go to school. This is how if you get sick, this is the hospital. So we want to contribute here first. And then at the same token, we came here looking for opportunities, right? To be able to succeed in our own personal or business, and also in turn to be able to support the people back home. And I know a lot of my friends that do that.
Ms. Usala, would you say that to our local business owners here that are members of the Urban Chamber, how beneficial would it be for them to show up to understand where they are in their business and how they can create relationships to not only export their product and services to the continent of Africa, but also create that relationship to bring in culture, history, and services from Africa to the US?
So we really encourage all of you to come to Africa Day, because it's important. Business is done, and I think Ken is the one that said this before. I've heard him say this, it's belly to belly, right? So if you don't show up, you're missing out. It's that simple. When you go to a place, you meet people, you have conversations, and you just never know what doors could open for you when you have a conversation with someone. You don't know whether you're filling a need that they were looking for. So, and it's not just even with the embassies and the people, the expo, just with the people of African continent. I know a lot of my friends that are looking to do business back home, whether it's Ghana, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda, Ethiopia. There's a lot of Ethiopian restaurants and businesses here in town that get resources, things that they need. For example, coffee. Coffee is grown in Ethiopia, coffee is grown in Kenya, right? So if you're a coffee person here and you have a place where you have a restaurant, you might want to connect with some of these people, because nowadays with supply chain issues, people can tap directly to the market and have it exported here to serve your restaurant. So it's important that the Urban Chamber members show up. I'm an Urban Chamber member. To show up, it's important that we show up, because we can't complain and whine if we don't show up.
That's right.
That's the key. So I hope we get to see all of you. We're excited to host. It's coming along really, really well. And you just never know what doors will open for you on that day.
Ms. Usala, for our listeners, how can we reach out to you or your team if we are interested in volunteering or sponsorship or just greater detail to the event itself?
So we have the Eventbrite, and if you want to reach out to me directly, I can give my number, but I'm always accessible. I'm a person that you can call me, you can Facebook messenger me, you can email, but info at, oh my goodness, I want to make sure, info at Africa Day. I'll check my email really quick. I think, hold on.
Take your time.
Yeah, I have to. I always confuse the email. It is on there.
I tell you what, while she's looking that up, what I want to hop in and say is I've been to Africa Day. I think I may have gone to the inaugural event, and I was just really pleased with the energy that they had there. It was a kind of a festival environment. But at the same time, what also caught my attention is that they did have vendors there throughout a couple of several different countries were represented. So the energy was great, the experience was great, and what eventually happened is we built a relationship between Chamber and the African Diaspora Las Vegas. And what I'm also happy to say is we do have a few of our members that are part of the Urban Chamber, they're part of the African Diaspora Las Vegas, plus they're part of the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. So again, Urban Chamber family, if you're out there, we really hope that you'll show up for Africa Day, May 21st. But in addition to that, if you're in a position to either volunteer or do a sponsorship or both, we really hope that you'll do that once you get the contact information from Ms. Ursula.
Okay, so the email is info@africadiasporalv.org. info@africadiasporalv.org or africadayLV@gmail.com. You can reach me on my cell phone, 702-812-8594.
Okay, we will definitely get your emails in the link for social media. So when people watch this recording, they'll know a place they can go with questions moving forward for this day. I'm so excited for this day. I have a question, Ursula. What if some of us in the community want to vend at Africa Day?
So we have vendor booths available. Again, if you're interested in being a vendor, we have that set up already. Our team working really hard, led by Jennifer, will send you the information right away. And again, if you send an email to info@africadiasporalv.org, we are happy to share that. And Tiffany, we can also send it to you so you can share it with the members directly. Because there's a sign up. There's also sign up form, Google form for volunteers. But there's also information we can provide right away. It's all ready to go because we're only 6 weekends away from Africa Day.
Okay,
yeah.
Awesome. You guys are ahead of the game. The preparation is there. We will get that link. We will shoot that out through the Urban Chamber. I will shoot that out through my social media as well. We have covered so much information. Closing out on this Wednesday, what would you like to share that hasn't already been shared in closing remarks?
I just want to say thank you to the Urban Chamber. Thank you, Ken and Tiffany. You guys have been just from day one, Ken, from day one, you've been there for us. You've seen the growth and the impact that we, the African Diaspora of Las Vegas is doing in the community. It's important for us to connect and to be, like I say, we got to be connected in the hip all the time, because that's the only way we succeed is if we are bonded, right, together as people. So we're just grateful. We're inviting everyone that's listening to join us on Africa Day. If you're looking to be a vendor, we're happy to send you the information. If you just want to come explore the food, the culture, the dance, the music, and it's outdoors, and it should be, it's a big fun park to be at. And so we're just excited to be able to do that. And we're still looking for sponsorship to be able to facilitate all the different programs that we do. We are a 501c3 organization. And so we're excited to be here. We thank all of you. And we're just, come have fun with us. Come, let's dance and enjoy the music, enjoy the people. It's a cultural event. So we're truly grateful, and we look forward to having all of you there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ursula. Mr. Kin.
Yeah, I'd just like to close things out by saying, Ursula, it's been great working with you, Jenny, and several of the members of your African Diaspora Las Vegas team. What I always like to say is that part of what you're doing is you're making connections that would have been a little bit more challenging, probably taking us longer to do. But by you playing the role that you did, like you mentioned, you're already well on your way to having almost half of the countries on the African continent represented within your group. I'm sure you'll eventually get to all of them, but you definitely have within a short time connected with the majority, which is outstanding. We love the fact that we have the opportunity to partner with you, as we like to say at the Urban Chamber, cooperate and collaborate, not only with your group, but again, with the African Chamber of Commerce and Tourism. And my concluding remark would be this, to my Urban Chamber family out there, to others that may see this, join us May the 21st for the Africa Day event at Craig Ranch Park from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And last but not least, once again, to show our support for the event, what I'll commit to you is that the Urban Chamber will provide some level of sponsorship for the event, again, to demonstrate our ongoing support and collaborative efforts.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr.
Ken.
Evans.
Thank you.
In my closing remarks on behalf of the Global Roundtable to our local business, small business owners, connecting on a global level, public and private relationships within our communities. I feel like Africa Day is going to hit both cultural connection as well as economic connection here in Southern Nevada. And that is the goal on a global level for all countries. So yes, please join us, Global Roundtable, Urban Chamber of Commerce, and Africa, being hosted and presented, led by Africa Diaspora Las Vegas. Come and join the two entities that is creating momentum for business leaders moving into the future when you're talking about your business here in the United States and thinking outside of the box globally, culture to economics on global levels. We appreciate you. We were able to finish early today. We know we have big schedules today, and we are honored for your time. Thank you, Ms. Yusela Butch. Thank you, Ken Evans, and join us next month, first Wednesday of every month, 9 to 10 a.m. with the Urban Chamber of Commerce and Tourism.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye-bye.